Imagine a color so beautiful that everyone wanted to wear it. A shade of green so vibrant and brilliant that it instantly conquered royal palaces, London ballrooms, and the bedrooms of the 19th century's wealthiest people. From sumptuous evening gowns to children's room wallpaper, draperies, and toys. This green was simply everywhere. It was the symbol of supreme elegance and social status. However, behind this mesmerizing beauty lurked a terrible secret. Without knowing it, an entire society was decorating their homes with death itself. This is the story of Scheele Green, the cursed color that quietly killed an entire era, and which, according to legends, may have struck down even Europe's greatest strategist, Napoleon Bonaparte. Welcome to Time Archives on Intelligo Mind. Today, we reveal the secret history of the most dangerous color ever created by human hands. It all began in the year 1775, in a dark laboratory in Sweden. Chemist Carl Wilhelm Scheele discovered a chemical reaction that produced a completely new green pigment of unprecedented intensity and brilliance. In those times, existing green pigments were faint and faded quickly. Scheele's invention seemed like a miracle, but his magic formula hid an ingredient of extreme toxicity: copper arsenite. Although Scheele knew the substance was dangerous, the huge commercial potential blinded everyone. As the word spread, textile and decoration factories began working day and night. Soon, it was no longer just about ball gowns. Green began to be used to color candies, food packaging, artificial leaves, and book pages as well. Without the slightest suspicion, the people of the Victorian era lived, breathed, and ate arsenic. The first signs of the collective disaster began to show in the most elegant place possible, namely, the high society ballrooms. Ladies of the high aristocracy, dressed in the famous green dresses that shone spectacularly under candlelight, began to faint one by one during the dance. The physicians of the time, unaware, blamed everything on the heat in the rooms or the much too tight corsets. But the truth was much more sinister. A single ball gown at that time contained a huge amount of pure arsenic. Under the suffocating heat in the salons, and due to the wearer's sweat, the fabric released a fine, invisible arsenic dust into the air. This penetrated deep through the pores of the skin and the respiratory tracts. Women suffered from deep wounds that would not heal, body ulcers, hair loss, and terrible weakness. The journals of the time rightly began to call these young women the green ghosts. If the aristocracy suffered in ballrooms, the true massacre took place in factories and ordinary people's homes. Workers who produced the paint and decorative leaves for hats inhaled the toxic dust daily. Their hands were covered in green sores, and many died in excruciating agony before reaching the age of 30. The newspapers of the time began to sound alarms only when a 19-year-old young woman named Matilda Scheele died. At the same time, the greatest danger lurked in the privacy of the home. The green wallpaper in bedrooms became a deadly trap when the walls suffered from moisture. In combination with bacteria and mold on the walls, the arsenic in the paint turned into a toxic gas called trimethylarsine. This gas was completely invisible and had no odor. Entire families would go to sleep in a gorgeous, freshly decorated room and never wake up again. Small children were the first victims. The most famous and debated victim of this cursed color remains, without a doubt, Napoleon Bonaparte. Following his final defeat, the former Emperor of France was exiled by the British to the remote and humid island of St. Helena. There, he lived in the house called Longwood House, where his favorite study room and bedroom were completely wallpapered with a superb pattern dominated by Scheele Green. Over the years spent on the island, Napoleon's health degraded. He suffered from severe abdominal pain, nausea, and extreme weakness. When he passed away in the year 1821, the official cause was stomach cancer. However, decades later, scientists analyzed a few strands of the former emperor's hair saved by those close to him. The results shocked the entire medical world. Napoleon's hair contained an amount of arsenic over 100 times higher than normal limits, caused by the wallpaper on the walls. It took decades of independent investigations, desperate warnings from courageous doctors, and public protests for Europe's governments to react. Slowly, factories were forced to stop the production of this pigment, and Scheele Green was permanently banned. The color left behind thousands of innocent victims and a frightening lesson about how the obsession for beauty, combined with industrial greed, can blind an entire society. This was the story of the shade that brought death in gala attire. A disturbing page that we opened today from the Time archives. If you found this journey into the dark secrets of the past fascinating, don't forget to subscribe to the Intelligo Mind channel and hit the like button to help us grow. Leave us a comment and tell us what other hidden mysteries you would like us to edit and discover together. Until next time, stay curious.